It happened on a Friday evening, one of those days when the office was alive, with tension because deadlines were closing in. I had stayed late as usual, trying to finish reports from my boss, Mr. Harris. What I didn't know was that my personal life was about to be ripped apart right in front of me, and the man responsible wasn't just any stranger, it was my boss himself. As I walked into the main hall to hand him the last file, I noticed my wife sitting in his office. My heart skipped a beat because she wasn't supposed to be there. She looked nervous, but when Harris looked at me with that smug grin, I felt something dark rising in my chest. Without hesitation, he pointed toward her and said, "She's mine today." The room went silent. My hands shook, waiting for her to defend me, to tell him off. Instead, she glanced at me coldly, stood up and whispered, "Yes." Then she walked out with him like I was invisible. The betrayal hit harder than any punch I could imagine. My knees almost gave out as I realized that the woman I trusted with my entire heart had chosen humiliation over loyalty. I didn't stop her. I didn't scream. I simply stood there frozen, watching the two people I had given my loyalty to walk away together. That night I sat alone in our empty bedroom, wondering how long this affair had been happening. Sleep never came. Instead, anger built inside me like a storm I couldn't control. I thought about every sacrifice I had made for her, every hour I had worked overtime just to give us a comfortable life. And all this time she was mocking me, choosing another man, my boss of all people. By sunrise, my sorrow had burned into something stronger. Revenge. The first thing I did was gather evidence. I wasn't about to confront them blindly. I dug into emails, checked her phone records when she left it unattended, and sure enough, the truth spilled out like poison. They had been seeing each other for months, meeting in hotels, even laughing at my expense in their messages. Each word I read cut deeper. But it also gave me fuel for the fire I was planning to light. I pretended nothing was wrong for the next week. I smiled at Harris during meetings, kissed my wife goodnight, and played the role of the clueless husband. But behind the mask, I was setting up everything. I copied all their messages, gathered photos, and even spoke with a private investigator who caught them red-handed at a restaurant. I built a file so thick that no one could deny what was happening. Once I had enough, I struck. I anonymously sent the evidence to the company's board of directors. Harris wasn't just my boss. He was a married man with a reputation to protect. Within 2 days, whispers turned into storms. Meetings were called, and soon his polished image was shattered beyond repair. My wife, on the other hand, had no idea what was coming. I waited until the night after Harris was suspended to confront her. She walked into the house, already angry because her lover was in trouble, and she tried to pick a fight with me. That was when I dropped the folder of printed messages on the table. Her face drained of color. For once, she had no words, no excuses, only silence. I told her I was done. No shouting, no begging, just finality. I informed her that divorce papers were all ready, being prepared, and that she could leave. Tonight or tomorrow. But she wouldn't stay another day under my roof. She tried to cry, to play the victim. But I had already buried every feeling I had for her. The divorce moved quickly because I had everything documented. She left with shame, while I kept the house and my dignity. Harris lost his position and his marriage. Once his wife received the same evidence I had collected. Two people who thought they could crush me ended up crushed themselves. For the first time in months, I felt peace. The silence in the house wasn't loneliness anymore. It was freedom. I wasn't tied down to betrayal or lies. I was rebuilding myself step by step, with no one's shadow hovering over me. Sometimes at night, I wonder if she regrets it. If Harris regrets ever thinking he could humiliate me in front of my own wife. But I don't dwell on it. Their downfall was their own choice. Mine was survival. And in the end, I learned that the best revenge isn't rage or violence. It's showing them that I can live better, stronger, and happier without them. They lost everything, but I gained my freedom. That was all I ever needed.